Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. It's Belinda from Belinda's Book Nook. Happy Black History Month. It has finally arrived. It seems like it's like I wait for it to happen and get excited. And then what happens? It's gone. So I'm hoping I'm going to do little activities and read some books and I'm hoping it won't feel like it's a blink again this year. Originally, I was going to do a January reads or wrap up. I have one book I have like I think like 2 chapters left that I haven't finished. But as I started thinking about the books, I actually read a lot for me because I'm a very slow reader. When I say slow, I mean slow. But I read some really good books that went very fast. And as I started thinking about it, I thought that it might be worth doing separate videos so that you don't have one huge long video. I may change my mind on that. But I'm going to shape these separate so that you can have viewing of them at your leisure. Or you may not want to listen to one of the books. I don't know. So anyway, I'm just going to do it that way. So before I get started on the book that I wanted to talk about today, I have to tell you something very funny. So this morning I'm getting ready. I have 2 boys. I'm getting ready for them for school. The oldest I've already dropped off. My youngest, he's watching cartoons, and I'm in the kitchen and I'm like in a roll. I've got the lunch already ready, packing some other stuff, and then I decided I'm going to make my smoothie. I drink smoothies, and I'm cutting up some romaine lettuce for my green smoothie, and yeah, I cut myself. And so it starts bleeding, and I'm like, oh my God, I get away from the food. I don't want to contaminate anything. I go to the sink, I get the knife, and I say, Apollo, this is my son's name is Apollo, can you go and get Mommy a Band-Aid upstairs? Okay. So I'm watching it. I stand and I turn around the corner. He's still watching the TV. I'm like, hey, can you go get it now? Yeah. And then I'm like, listen, you need to go now because I'm bleeding and it's bleeding a lot. It's going down my hand. And I'm like, oh no, because I've had stitches in my hand before, and it's not the stitches that hurt, everyone. It's the needle in your hand that hurts. And I don't want it for this cut. So I'm watching it saying, please clot, don't do this to me. He's not getting up. So finally he stands up and he goes, I have to pause it, Mom. I have to pause it. I go, what if I was dying? Imagine that you have to pause it. So he starts going up the stairs and he turns to me. And do you know what he says to me? Mom, you're not dying. It may feel like you're dying, but you're not dying. And then he proceeds to go up the stairs to go get the Band-Aid. I almost peed my pants right there. I mean, talk about throwing your words right back at you. How many times I've said that to him when he's hurt? You're not dying. I know it hurts, but you're not dying. So I'm not dying. And he did get the Band-Aid after all. So that's my lovely morning story. I thought I'd share it because I thought it was just so funny. Because here I am. I've got a lot of thoughts in my head, and I'm trying to get things organized. And he's like, do-do-do, in his world. So now that I've wasted a whole bunch of time talking about that, I'm going to get to the book. The book is Here Comes the Sun by Nicole Dennis-Benn. It's a debut novel. I originally got this book, and I'm sure everybody's heard about it now. I pre-ordered it with everyone else when it came out, and I didn't read it because I don't like to read books when everybody's talking about them on BookTube. I will write it down and write notes, and if I'm really good, I'll write who recommended it. And I may order it, but I won't read it because I feel like it compromises my ability to take in the book the way that I would originally take it, and it also could spoil it in the sense that I may not like it as much as I would have had I not been influenced by everything everybody else is saying. So I tend to wait for it to die down, which I think it has, but it's a good time now, Black History Month, to bring up the awareness again, so this could be an option for somebody to read. The reason why it came back to the forefront to me again was Dee Dee at Brown Girl Reading had read it and loved it, and I said, oh yeah, I forgot I have it. I should read it now. So I did read it and I really loved it. And I have cheat notes because I can never remember. I told you I don't remember everything. The story follows 3 women in Jamaica. And it's a mother and her 2 daughters. and they're very, very poor, and it follows their lives for a period of time. It explores so many different topics. It explores, homosexuality. The author of the book is actually a lesbian, and she no longer lives in Jamaica. The treatment that she portrayed in the book was very cruel and very, very unkind to people if they found out that you were homosexual. So it was very interesting and a learning experience to find out what goes on in another country, and in Jamaica in specific, and how they feel about that topic. The story is wonderful. She gives you a good sense of, it's very atmospheric, gives you a good sense of being in Jamaica. I think it explores the residuals of colonialism. And what I mean by that is you would see people that are darker skinned working more in the domestic and very poor, and the people that are lighter skinned had more opportunities working. And I know when I did go to Jamaica, I went twice. I did notice in the resorts, a lot of the hospitality was very light skinned, and the lady cleaning your room is dark skinned. So there is that belief, of lighter is better and darker is bad. And she explores that in this book with regard to one of the characters. I don't want to give any spoilers on the book, but that is explored in the book. The concept in talking about homosexuality and how people receive that in the country is explored. It was a really good book. I very much recommend it. It is hard at times. I'm a softie, so maybe somebody else might not feel that this is too much, but there was some sexual stuff in here that made me pause. And so I think if you're sensitive to those issues, just be warned. But I think that it was necessary for the book for her to be able to portray. The other thing about the book is that there is no black and white, like in the terms of right and wrong. Initially I wanted to judge some of the characters based on some of their decisions, but their life and their experience could have led them differently, because you can't, unless you're in somebody's shoes, know what it's like. And the mother did what she thought was right, and the daughters did the choices and made the choices that they thought were right for themselves based on their experience. So it forced me to read it, take a step back, read it, take a step back, and think about it that way. The other thing that I want to mention before I wrap up, see, I'm doing it nice. I think I'm doing a good amount of time here, is that going there as a tourist, okay, I'm from the northeast part of the United States. So we know that it's cold. We get snow here. Our summers are warm, but the water is not, it never really gets warm. It gets warm enough to get in it, but it's not this, the water in Jamaica is like a pool. It's beautiful. And I remember arriving there, even flying over the country and looking and oh my God, look at the water, look at the water. The book gives you a good perspective of how you see something. So for me, coming from here and going there, it's paradise. It's beautiful. The word often is used as paradise. If you're poor and you're in Jamaica, extremely poor, you might not see it as paradise, and you might not view the water and the ocean as paradise. And you know why? And this isn't a spoiler, but this is something I realized when I was reading, is because they're an island. I live here. If I don't like what I have here, I could move. We have a big country. We can move, around to other areas. There's now that option when you're poor. And even moving within the country itself is very challenging and different. So, it makes me pause when I think about how I perceive when I go on vacation and I go and there's a tropical beach and I look and I love everything that I see. And then I see, people that are poor there. The other thing they talked about too in the book was like tourism, and how they tried to make a living through tourism, and how people are trying to haggle prices for things. And I know as a tourist, sometimes I'm like, it's kind of expensive. I can't buy that. But these people are trying to make a living. They're not trying to hustle you. They're trying to sell you this at a price that they feel that they can make money so that they can feed their family and take care of themselves. And so having to keep that in mind when we travel, will be a new thing to keep more in the forefront for myself. It's just a reminder. But it explored so many different things in the book. I hope I'm hitting everything. I took a lot of notes. But I feel like it's a great read. It's a good opportunity to see Jamaica in a different light, not just, the one love and the happy times, that there are people that are struggling, and that people that are in hard times. So I think it's a great debut novel. I will be looking forward to some more books by her. I have a lot of other books set in the Caribbean and in Jamaica in particular that I'll be reading through this year. So yeah, we'll have to maybe do a little Jamaica series or something. But this one was definitely a great book. I highly recommend it. Like I said, there are little trigger things there that might be a little bit heavy, but I think it's well worth reading the book. And I hope that my review added to the volume of talks that people have made about the book, and hopefully given so many people an opportunity to think about reading it. Happy Black History Month, and I'm going to be back again with another video on some of the other books that I read in January. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.